So here we are again with another in our Confidence Builder series. Let's have a quick recap of what we've done so far. For our first blocks, we stitched either side of the seam lines horizontally and vertically. So that gives us that pattern on the back. You'll find the quilting on the back is more visible than on the front. Our second was crosshatch going through our squares. And then for our third one, we combined the two. We first stitched our vertical lines and horizontal lines either side of the seams, and then we did our large crosshatch through the squares. Then we did our trusty stitch in the ditch for this one, for the fourth one. Good idea to pick a block that's come together nicely, that you've got accurate points on there, and that's a nice one to do it. We've moved on here to a smaller crosshatch, so you can go as big or small as you like on these ones, as long as you're quilting within the recommendations of your wadding. So this one I'm going to turn over, it'll be easier to see what we've done on this one. So we started off with a cross from corner to corner diagonally, and then in each of the quadrants here we did this triangle echo quilting in between, so we've got the 4 points pointing into the centre. Again, this is one that we're going to look on the back. This one was split diagonals, so we did the line across from corner to corner diagonally. This side we've done our lines 1 inch apart parallel to that centre line, and here we've done this 1 inch apart, but with this time we're perpendicular to this, so that is a split diagonal. That would give you a really interesting pattern if you were to alternate that on blocks on a big quilt, so that's a nice one to keep in mind. So that brings us to our 8th block. So for this one, we're doing zigzags. Got my marker, just get my ruler. So again, I'm going to mark it before pinning it, and I'm going to be using the centre, the blocks on my quilt as a guide. So go down, and then this side I'm coming up. So you're going to do that on each row of your block. So again, for this one we're just using one line for each. Of course you can do more lines and echo those across if you wanted. So the other way that you can do it, you can form diamonds. Right, keep that for another one. So we're just going to echo our lines here. So you can do each line going down, or you can move horizontally along the line. Just this way just makes it easier for moving the ruler. There we go. And then back up for this one. And last one. Now I can get that pinned ready for quilting. Again, as you're quilting it, you're going to be taking out your pins as you go. You don't want to be stitching over them. There we go. And just putting a pin in every square, just keeps everything in place. And you want to make sure that when you're quilting this, that you've got your walking foot on. There we go. So now I'm going to go and set my machine up and we'll get that one stitched. Right, okay, so walking foot's on, stitch length is 3. I'm going to do this row here. Start the needle down and we're going to go to the corner. Make sure you take your pins out as you go. Watch you don't stick your hands on the other pins. You get to the corner, make sure that your needle is down before you pivot to do your next line. There we are. To the corner. And this is the last one in this row. Okay, so I'm going to start on this row. And into the corner. So if your squares aren't too big and you're feeling confident, you could probably freehand this. You're just going to be aiming for that opposite corner. Right, okay, I've run out of bobbin thread there, so I need to refill my bobbin. Okay, here we go. So, aiming for those corners, I want to stop right in the intersection of the seams. Another row done. The important thing with this one is to remember that when you're changing direction, you want to make sure that your needle is down. All or else you end up with a nasty mess. When you start stitching again, make sure that you've put your foot down. Easy to forget, put it back up again. So this is the last one on this row. There we go. So here we are on the last row that we need to do. So if you've got smaller squares, it will obviously take you a bit longer. You can mark this out. It doesn't necessarily have to be squares on your quilt. And there we have it. Oh, let's turn it over, and there's our zigzag, which gives you a nice pattern. Now imagine that on a larger quilt. So that's our 8th block. Just one more to go before we start putting it together. So I'll speak to you very soon.